Everyone in the restaurant froze the moment she walked in, covered in mud, shaking, and holding a single broken shoe. People laughed. Some whispered, and the poor woman wished she could disappear, until the single dad at the back table stood up and did something no one expected. Before I tell you what he did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Outrun Kindness Tales for more heart-touching stories. The night had just begun to settle over the small downtown district, lights flickering on as couples and groups filtered into the quiet, warm-lit restaurant. Ethan sat alone at a table near the window, straightening his shirt collar for the 5th time. He wasn't used to blind dates, not since losing his wife 3 years ago, but his sister finally pushed him into it. "Ethan, you're a good man, a devoted father, and you deserve someone who sees that," she insisted. So here he was, attempting to calm the butterflies that refused to settle. He checked his phone again. Her name was Maya. He'd never met her, only exchanged a few messages. She seemed warm, funny, humble. That had intrigued him more than her profile picture. But then, the restaurant door slammed open so hard the wind chimes above it rattled. Every head inside snapped toward the entrance. A woman stood there frozen, breathing hard, covered in mud from head to toe. Her hair was tangled and dripping, her shirt soaked, her jeans streaked brown, and she had only one shoe, the other dangling hopelessly from her fingers. People stared. A couple whispered. Someone snorted with suppressed laughter. She scanned the room desperately, then her horrified eyes landed on Ethan. "Oh no," she whispered, shielding her face. She looked ready to run straight back out the door. But Ethan rose slowly, confused but concerned. She approached, cheeks burning. I'm Maya," she blurted. "I swear I don't normally look like this. I fell in a ditch after the bus splashed mud everywhere, and then my phone died, and then," she choked on a breath. "I should just go. You shouldn't have to deal with this." The room remained painfully silent, all eyes on them. Ethan looked at her, really looked. Not at the mud, not at the mess, but at how ashamed she seemed, how hard she was gripping her broken shoe, how she trembled slightly. He felt something tug at his chest. Softly, he said, "You showed up. That already says a lot." She blinked in disbelief. "You're not disgusted?" Ethan shook his head. "I'm impressed." She looked like she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Ethan, I look like I crawled out of a swamp. A very determined swamp," he joked gently, and she let out a tiny laugh. "Come on," he added. "Let's get you cleaned up." People watched, some smirking, some confused, as he walked with her out of the restaurant, not embarrassed, not distant, but warm and patient. As they crossed the parking lot, she couldn't stop apologizing. "I'm ruining everything. This is not how a blind's to start. Trust me," Ethan said. "I have a 6-year-old son. We deal with mud daily. This is nothing." She cracked a smile. Really? He opened his car door for her. She hesitated. "Are you sure I can sit in your car like this?" "Maya," he said with a grin, "the car seats have survived spilled juice, melted crayons, and a whole chocolate milk incident. Sit." She climbed in, still embarrassed but slowly relaxing. Ethan got in, started the engine, and said, "We're getting you a fresh outfit." "My treat. You don't have to do that. I want to," he replied. She looked out the window, touched by his kindness. As the car started moving, Ethan suddenly remembered, and looked at the camera. Before the story continues, he said softly, "Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Outrun Kindness Tales for more heartwarming stories." Then he returned to the moment, driving a muddy stranger toward a night neither of them knew would become unforgettable. The car ride to the nearby store felt strangely comfortable. Maya explained the chain of disasters that led to her muddy entrance. She'd worked a double shift, rushed to catch a bus, slipped on wet pavement, then gotten splashed by a passing truck. It was like the universe was screaming, "Don't go," she said. Ethan glanced at her with a gentle smile. "But you went anyway," she sighed. "Yeah, I didn't want to stand someone up. People aren't always kind about that." "I'm glad you didn't," Ethan replied. They arrived at a small clothing store. Ethan walked with her inside, ignoring the strange looks employees gave her wet clothes and mud-streaked hair. He pulled soft sweaters off racks, trying to guess her style, holding them up with a playful seriousness. "This one says, 'I survived disaster but still look classy,'" he announced. She laughed, cheeks warming. "I can't believe you're doing this." "Why not?" "Because most people would have run the moment they saw me." "I'm not most people," he said simply. She grew quiet, staring at him with an expression he couldn't read. After choosing a clean outfit, towels, and a hairbrush, Maya went into the restroom to change. Ethan waited outside, wondering why he felt nervous, like a teenager waiting for a prom date. When the door finally opened, his breath caught. Maya stood there in the simple new clothes, hair damp but brushed, face soft and fresh, eyes shy. But it wasn't the clothes that changed her. It was the way she held herself now, not small, not apologetic, but hopeful. Ethan stared for a moment before regaining his voice. "You look perfect," he said quietly. Her lips parted. "Ethan, no one's ever done something like this for me. You deserve it," he said without thinking. They walked back to the car, a warm quiet settling around them. When they returned to the restaurant, people stared again, but this time for a different reason. She looked radiant, and Ethan's gentle presence beside her was impossible to miss. They ordered food, and as they ate, Maya opened up about her life. She didn't grow up with much. She worked 2 jobs. She rarely took time for herself because she was always helping her mother and younger siblings. "I've always been the messy one," she said softly. "The one who shows up late, the one who rushes, the one who tries so hard to look put together but never quite gets there." Ethan listened carefully. "You call that messy," he said. "I call that responsible, hardworking, loyal." She swallowed. "You're the first person to say that." Ethan felt his chest tighten again. She continued, "Guys I dated before always wanted someone prettier, more organized, more perfect. I'm not looking for perfect," Ethan said. "I'm looking for real." Her eyes glimmered. "And you think this is real?" "Maya, if there's one thing I learned as a single dad, real life is messy. People are messy. What matters is the heart." She didn't speak for a long moment, her eyes softening as she studied his face. Then she whispered, "I'm glad I didn't give up tonight." "Me too," he replied. The rest of the dinner flowed easily, stories, laughter, quiet moments. The kind that didn't feel forced. The kind that felt like something was growing between them. When the night ended and they walked to the car again, Maya hesitated. "Ethan, thank you for treating me with respect even when I looked like a disaster." Ethan stepped closer. "You were never a disaster." Not for a second. Her breath caught. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen, not judged, not compared, not dismissed. Seen. And cherished. They stood beside his car under the soft glow of a street lamp. The warm night breeze lifted the strands of Maya's hair as she looked at Ethan, her expression gentle but full of emotion. "I was so sure tonight was ruined," she whispered. "I almost got off the bus and went home. But something told me to keep going." "I'm glad you did," Ethan said. "Because I think this, whatever it is, was supposed to happen." Maya looked down at her hands, smiling timidly. "I don't know why you're being so kind to me." Ethan exhaled slowly. "Because someone once taught me that kindness is a choice. My wife, before she passed, she always said that kindness is most important when everything else goes wrong." Maya's eyes softened with sorrow. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." "It's okay," Ethan replied gently. "I made peace with it. But I haven't let go of what she taught me." Maya looked at him with a new tenderness. "I think she'd be proud of you." "I hope so," Ethan said quietly. They stood for a few more seconds, the moment stretching between them, warm, alive, full of possibility. Then Maya asked shyly, "Do you want to see me again?" Ethan smiled immediately. "How about breakfast tomorrow? Somewhere cozy, with no mud involved this time." She laughed, bright and genuine. "Deal." They exchanged numbers, though Ethan joked that he would also text her reminders, "Stay away from ditches." "No promises," she teased. "I attract chaos." "Good," he said. "Keeps life interesting." The night air was cooler now as Maya "You again, Ethan. For everything. Anytime, Maya." He watched her walk toward her rideshare pickup spot, noticing how her steps seemed lighter, how she no longer shrank under her own self-doubt. She turned back once with a shy smile, then hopped into the car. Ethan got into his own car and sat there for a moment, feeling unexpectedly full. It wasn't just attraction, it was the way she stayed despite her embarrassment, the way she laughed through humiliation, the way she opened her heart in small, delicate pieces. It felt right. And somewhere between the mud, the laughter, the gentle conversation, they had built something fragile but real. Something worth exploring. Driving home, Ethan thought of how unpredictable life could be. How one disastrous entrance could lead to the beginning of something beautiful. And how sometimes the best chapters truly did start with a mess. As he parked in his driveway and turned off the car, he looked at the camera again. "If you enjoyed this story," he said softly, Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Toure Kindness Tales for more emotional and inspiring stories. Your support means everything. Inside, his young son was asleep. Ethan peeked into his room, smiling at the sight of his little boy cuddling a stuffed dinosaur. He whispered, "Daddy had a good night tonight." For the first time in years, his heart felt open, completely, quietly open. And across town, Maya sat on her bed, replaying the evening. She held the clean sweater he bought her between her hands, smiling at the memory of his kindness, his warmth, the way he looked at her like she belonged. She whispered into the quiet room, maybe good things are still possible. As the night settled over the city, two hearts, shaken, bruised, healing, found themselves drawn together by a chance, a mess, and the gentle, powerful force of kindness. And it was only the beginning.